Okay, welcome to Satsang. Do we have a microphone? So would anybody like to share what happened when they looked inside? Okay, here we have somebody, Christine.
You want to come or?
Yep, you can just... Yeah. Oh, you want to come here? Well, we have a microphone here, but it's okay. I'm happy if you come here. No.
Okay.
Okay, now we're all going to do it here, so you all have to come rushing out and do it here. Okay. It's nicer here because we have the cameras on you. Okay, so you just pull it down and then it can... Yeah.
Test.
Yeah, that's okay. Good.
So,
Okay.
I'm very touched.
Yeah.
There's a deep longing for really to live and to connect and to share. It's very, very strong. I didn't expect that.
This came out of just doing this little exercise,
Yes.
or
Yes.
yeah.
Yes. Strong urge to live. Mm-hmm.
And what is your life actually?
Kind of boring.
Yeah. But how much are you ready to change your life towards what you've just said?
I want to go to Hawaii.
Oh yeah. What
Yeah.
happens there?
There's the ocean. I
Well, that's
can
not gonna,
surf.
that's not going to help you achieve any of what you've just said. You see, unfortunately.
You're right.
Because
But
that's
I have a
the-
friend there.
Yeah, but that's another reason not to go. I mean, this. I mean, this is the basic mistake of everybody who says what you said. You know, you said something very, very beautiful, didn't you? Incredibly beautiful, most beautiful thing you could say as a human being. Yeah.
Thank you.
But then you just completely don't understand. You see.
Okay.
Because if you go to Hawaii, because there they have hot weather and they have beautiful beaches, and there you've got a
think I
friend and blah
understand.
blah and blah blah, and they wonderful food and they all run around in grass skirts or whatever they do, you know. I mean that is
Definitely.
completely not going to help you, because to
You're
do
right.
what you're saying you want to do,
Yeah.
it's only going to work if you look inside yourself.
Another idea came
see?
to my mind.
No, I don't want to hear it. you know.
Okay.
So this is the only possibility. You know, I'm sorry to be so ruthless, but I've been doing this for 25 years. And the only way to achieve what you said you wanted to achieve, I mean, you didn't say I want to eat chocolate on the beach in Hawaii, did you? No. So I'm responding to what you said you know. I wasn't expecting you to rush out and tell us that. So that's very, very beautiful. But you're completely sabotaging yourself when you then think that by going to Hawaii, you'll get out of your boring life. Well, in one way, you'll get out of your boring life. Maybe you'll start surfing or something, you know, and get more exciting. But if you really want what you said you want, it's only inside, you see.
Yes.
Because the amazing kind of secret is that everything like peace, like love, is already inside us. So we just have to go in a different direction, because while we're looking for Hawaii and our friend or whatever we're looking for on the outside, we're never looking where it really is. And it's very, very close, you know, because probably you wouldn't have come and said all those things, except that you sat quietly for 10 minutes, and then immediately you connected to something very deep inside you. So it's very close, 10 minutes away. Flying to Hawaii takes 20 hours or something, I don't know, you know. And when you get there, guess what? The same Christina will get off the plane who got on the plane, basically. Yeah, you've done some spiritual work, have you?
Yes.
All right. Okay. And you have a teacher? So get more involved with that teacher.
Okay. Great.
Okay.
Thank you.
You probably can't go to Hawaii now anyway because of the virus. So if somebody else like to share, now we're on a really exciting track. I didn't. I don't even have to talk, as I was planning a big speech, But now I don't have to make it. Somebody else like to come and just start by just sharing what happened in the meditation. Yeah. Don't forget, you're not going to be able to talk for the next 40 hours, so you might want to take your chance. You probably know that a regular Vipassana course is normally 10 days. For some reason, I don't know why it's 10 days, but so probably in a normal Vipassana retreat, you would do about 6 hours of sitting a day, which is maybe 60 hours in the 10 days. But here in this weekend, we're going to do 40 hours of sitting. So, it's not so far away from doing a whole big course. So don't be surprised if something rather beautiful happens. I'll have to start my speech if nobody wants to come. Come on. It might go on for hours. You never know once I start. Okay. So this is Lavanya. What does Lavanya mean?
Grace and beauty.
Grace and beauty.
Yes.
Wow. She's a filmmaker. She makes films, documentaries. Kind of. A bit closer with the mic. Yeah. Okay. So what happened?
I was quite relaxed. I had no expectations. I was just... And then suddenly, I was, oh, where am I? It was a very, very beautiful place. Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Do you think it's got something to do with you?
Yeah, but I went. Sorry.
Do you think it's got something to do with you, this beautiful place?
Exactly, yes.
Ah?
Grace and beauty. Yeah, but of course, when being there, and then then the thoughts started to come. I could observe this, the space and me being there. Well, this, and then thoughts what is this? And then these thoughts came stronger, and then I was out already. But the feeling was very beautiful. Yeah.
I find it nice the way you're describing it, that in fact you're identifying yourself with that space, and then thoughts came, but you didn't say then my thoughts came. So you seem to be identifying with that beautiful space, actually. You see this? Most people identify with their thoughts,
No.
but you didn't seem to be doing that from the way you expressed it. So that's great, because that's true, you see.
It's just a very beautiful place of being. It's very clear.
And only took 5 or 6 minutes, probably. So look how close you are, Okay. Good. There's a trick, by the way, when somebody stops talking to me and starts going back, then you have to come immediately. Don't even think about it. Just stand up and it will happen easily. You see, otherwise, if you leave it from that moment, then it becomes a big decision. And it's very nice to come and sit here, actually. So we can translate almost any language, so you don't have to worry about that. Okay. So Andy only speaks German, so we have a German translator, I think. So he's got a microphone now. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
So what happened when you went inside?
Was ist passiert, als du nach innen geschaut hast?
Also ich mache das sehr oft, fast täglich, diese Übung zu Hause, dass ich meinen Fokus auf das richte, was gerade am stärksten in mir ist.
I do that very often, almost every day, that I look inside and look at what's the strongest.
Okay, good. But what happened this time?
Es beginnt sich irgendwann aufzulösen, weil ich denke, dass ich es so bewusst erlebe.
At some point it starts to dissolve because I experience it so consciously.
Und ich habe irgendwann festgestellt, dass ich nicht dieser Gedanke oder diese Emotion bin, sondern der Part, der das Ganze wahrnimmt, das dahinter ist.
And at one point I could notice that I'm not the thought or the emotion, but I'm that part which is behind the thought or the emotion.
Good. All right. Well, you're in for a nice weekend, I think.
Du hast ein schönes Wochenende vor dir.
I hope so. Aber es gibt eine Sache, die ist schon sehr lange, ich würde sagen, in meinem Körper. Ich habe ihm das vor vielen Jahren schon mal gesagt. Und das kann ich nicht wirklich ganz auflösen. Ich dachte schon ein paar Mal, ich habe das geknackt, das ist weg, aber es kommt immer wieder.
But there is one thing in my body, and I already told you years before, and somehow I can't really dissolve that. I can't really get the key for that, unlock it.
He has something in his body?
In his body, yeah.
Like what?
Was ist das?
It's here.
It's
It
That's your
feels.
heart, I think. Isn't that where his
Yes.
heart is? We've got a doctor in the house.
Yes.
So you have something in your heart?
Yes, it's. Es fühlt sich eng an. Manchmal schmerzt es, manchmal fühlt es sich wie ein Loch an.
It feels tight, sometimes it hurts, and sometimes it feels like a hole.
Well, if you have a hole in your heart, you probably need to have a heart operation.
Maybe.
Yeah? But if you've just got some kind of emotional issues with your heart, then that would be the same as everybody sitting here. They've all usually got heart holes in their heart, emotional holes in their hearts.
Aber wenn das einfach nur emotionale Löcher sind in deinem Herzen, wie jeder andere das hier auch hat, dann musst du vielleicht keine Herz-OP haben.
I mean, next to, I don't know what, maybe smallpox or something. I mean, heart disease is very rampant, rampant everywhere.
Aber abgesehen von den Masern sind Herzprobleme eigentlich recht üblich.
It's worse than the coronavirus, actually.
Es ist schlimmer als der Coronavirus.
Das stimmt.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's really rampant.
Das ist sehr üblich, heftig.
Maybe you have some particular reasons for that, and you can investigate them a bit and chip a bit off the blockiness of it.
Und vielleicht hast du da etwas in dir und du kannst das anschauen, kannst da reingehen und kannst nach und nach Teile davon loslassen, ablösen.
Ja, ich glaube, dass ich das schon zu einem Teil gemacht habe. Ich habe, wie gesagt, in den letzten Jahren sehr oft meinen Fokus darauf gehalten und ich habe sehr viele Geschichten aus meiner Vergangenheit gesehen und mir war auch klar, dass ich mir zu diesen Ereignissen Geschichten erzählt habe, die Emotionen erzeugt haben.
And I believe I already did that in the years before. I felt into that place where it hurts, and I could see stories of the past, and I could see that through engaging in these stories I created these emotional hurts or pains there.
I mean, very often, before we're really conscious, when we're already little bundles of joy, maybe not so joyful, but already from very early age, we could have issues of the heart. And then as we grow older, those issues are somehow there as some kind of shadow, which affects the way, we relate as a teenager, or we relate as a husband or wife or something, in our relationships. That old shadow still somehow functions, and then we make more pain in a way.
Und dieser Schatten, wenn du älter wirst, wird sich auch in deinen Beziehungen zeigen und wird Teil von den Beziehungen sein, die du hast, und wird sich vielleicht sogar verstärken und du wirst ihn mittragen.
So one of the antidotes, I would say, is actually mantra singing.
Und eins der Gegenmittel dafür ist Mantra singen.
Because if you get into a situation where you would sing a mantra for maybe a couple of hours,
Weil wenn du in eine Situation kommst, wo du ein Mantra für mehrere Stunden singst,
then you find that your whole energy system is somehow opening up.
ja, dann wirst du bemerken, dass sich dein Energiesystem mehr und mehr öffnet.
So somehow in the last years we've used more mantra singing. So we did a little bit tonight, but every week on Wednesday we have an hour and a half, I think it is, of mantra singing. And this is really working to open the heart.
Und heute hatten wir ein bisschen was davon, aber jeden Mittwoch machen wir 1,5 Stunden Mantra singen und das hilft wirklich, das Herz zu öffnen.
Because somehow these mantras, they're very ancient.
Weil diese Mantras sind sehr alt.
And most of the best mantras, they are somehow inviting the great saints, the great mystics.
Und die besten dieser Mantren laden die größten Weisen und die größten Heiligen ein.
And so, they're almost scientific, you could say.
Die sind fast wissenschaftlich.
And so that would be one very good way for you to open your heart.
Das wäre eine der besten Weisen, wie du dein Herz öffnen könntest.
I'm a big fan from Krishna Das. I
Right.
like this very much, and it goes very deep. I must cry, and it's very good for me.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
I saw this interview.
Right.
Yes, 2 or 3 years old.
Right.
It was
Right.
very good.
Yeah, I have a new book now called Meetings with Remarkable People.
Mm-hmm.
It's not here, of course, but is it? No, it's not. Yes, it is. Down the bottom here. So, this book is in German, and we have a very beautiful interview with Krishna Das.
Und da drin haben wir ein sehr schönes Interview mit Krishna Das.
And also on my website, you can actually buy the interview. This was a remarkable interview, actually. It was a kind of sort of magic happened. So this was actually, it was about 10 years ago, and it was outside Amsterdam, and I had rented a room in a country hotel so it would be quiet. And we picked him up in the middle of Amsterdam, took him to this hotel. He sat on the bed with his harmonium, and we decided we'd start the interview with him playing something. Yeah. And then almost immediately, Neem Karoli Baba, who is his master, somehow we could all feel the energy of his master coming into the room. It was very, very strong. And then the interview is, I think, one of the best interviews I've ever made. It's really, really something you should try to watch. It's very special, yeah? And you can feel this energy of the tremendous love Krishna Das has for his teacher, Neem Karoli Baba. Yeah.
So,
Yeah. So this is all a great way to deal with the heart, because last time I met you, you were busy in a very complicated love relationship. Yeah?
he makes songs with Ram Das. It is very good. Krishna Das and Ram Das.
Right.
Very good.
Right. Yeah, Ram Das is also in the book.
Oh.
Yeah. Ram Das is, well, he passed away just as we published the book, I think. I don't know if you know Ram Dass. He was also with Neem Karoli Baba, and his story is quite famous because he wrote a book called, what was it called? Be Here Now. And this was the sort of Bible in the 60s and 70s. It was the sort of hippie Bible, Be Here Now. And here he is being here now at the end of his life. He got paralyzed. Maybe you know this story. He was a professor earlier in his life. Did a lot of things with LSD. And then he went off to India and met Neem Karoli Baba. And anyway, so at the end of his life, he was paralyzed, so he couldn't easily manage to go in the water. But once a week in Hawaii, where's she going? If you go to Hawaii, but it's too late now because he's left his body. But anyway, once a week, a whole lot of people would collect themselves on the beach, and they put him in the water in a rubber suit, and he would paddle around with his one arm that was working, and they would sing songs. Unfortunately, this is in German, so I can't tell you what the song was, but anyway, here's his beach buggy. They had a special beach buggy, like a wheelchair for the sand. Yeah. So we have a whole lot of pictures in this book of Ram Dass. He's really a special guy. Yeah. And we even have a homage to Neem Karoli Baba. Those of you who don't know Neem Karoli Baba is living under a blanket. And he didn't really have any more than a blanket and they call it a dhoti, which is just a piece of cotton you wrap around the lower part of your body. And here he is again, you see, just wearing a blanket and a dhoti. He lived very, very simple, but he was like, tremendously great master. He was beyond the normal kind of master. He was unbelievable, actually. Yeah. So, yeah. Okay. Yeah. But last time we met, you were doing your heart situation with some quite complicated relationship, yeah?
Das letzte Mal, als wir uns gesehen haben, hast du deine Herzenssache in einer sehr komplizierten Beziehung erforscht.
Ja, eine lange Beziehung ist auseinandergegangen und das hat mich ganz schön angetriggert.
A long relationship got to an end and that really triggered me.
Right. Well, like Our Lady who's going off to Hawaii, I would say that's another big sabotage, you see. I mean, there's nothing wrong in having a relationship with somebody, and you can live your whole life doing that, yeah? But if, as I think you have, the same longing that Christina has, that's not really going to help you.
Christine, also so etwas zu machen wie Christine nach Hawaii zu gehen, macht da auf jeden Fall keinen Sinn.
Nö.
Und
I can see this. You can go anywhere. No.
You can go anywhere, what?
Man kann überall hingehen, du bleibst immer derselbe.
So you can go anywhere, it doesn't really matter where you are. Aber was John David gerade noch gesagt hat, ist, mit so einer Sache sabotierst du dich selbst. Weil du hast eine ähnliche Sehnsucht, wie sie auch hat, und dieser Sehnsucht zu folgen.
I mean, she was a very nice lady, actually.
Sie war eine sehr nette Frau.
And probably you thought she was your soulmate, yeah, because she was also interested in the spiritual world.
Yes.
Du dachtest wahrscheinlich, sie ist deine Seelenverwandte, weil sie auch interessiert war in spirituelle Arbeit.
Yeah.
So it just depends, you see. I mean, if you come to where maybe you've come to and where it seems Christina's come to, if you really have such a deep longing inside, yeah, and you want to come to your essence, then, having a normal kind of everyday love affair doesn't really help.
Und wenn du diese starke Sehnsucht
I'm
hast.
upsetting our friend from Estonia when I say this because she believes it does help, you see. But I know it doesn't. Much better is to fall in love with a spiritual master and spend a lot of time with that person.
Okay.
You see, that's the best route. And when this happens, it happens, you know. It's not... sorry, do you want to translate?
Und wenn das passiert, passiert es einfach. Hast du den Rest davor verstanden? Ja.
I mean, in this remarkable book, there's also the story of John David.
In diesem Buch ist auch die Geschichte von John David.
And for example, when I came to my, in a way, personal master, Papaji or Punjaji,
Und als ich zu meinem Meister Papaji Punjaji gekommen bin,
you know, I met him in a most amazing way.
habe ich ihn auf eine unglaubliche Weise getroffen.
So I came to his city to look for him.
Ich kam zu seiner Stadt, um nach ihm zu sehen.
And I had the name of the kind of area where he was living.
Und ich wusste den Namen des Ortes, wo er lebt.
And I got on a bicycle rickshaw with my girlfriend. I had a Russian girlfriend. And we went, I don't know, half an hour on this rickshaw. And then we came to the area.
Und dann bin ich mit meiner russischen Freundin circa eine halbe Stunde mit einem Rikscha, mit einem Tuk-Tuk dorthin
And I don't know what I was thinking, like there was going to be a big sign, you know, with neon lights or something. But I didn't know where his house was.
Und ich wusste nicht, was ich erwarten kann, aber ich dachte vielleicht ein großes
So we started going up and down the streets.
Und dann sind wir auf und ab gegangen, die
It was
Straße.
incredibly hot.
Und es war sehr heiß.
And this was a little old man on a, you know, with a bicycle.
Und das war ein alter Mann auf einem Fahrrad.
And I was getting really worried that he was just going to drop dead. You know?
Und ich machte mir einfach Sorgen, dass er gleich umfällt.
So at a certain moment I said to him, stop.
Irgendwann habe ich gesagt, stopp.
And in the moment he stopped, I stepped off the rickshaw.
Und als er stehen geblieben ist, bin ich ausgestiegen.
You know, and as you step off, you kind of look down. And then when I looked up,
Und wenn man aussteigt, schaut man nach unten und dann
I
schaute ich nach
saw on
oben.
the gate, Punja.
Und dann sah ich auf dem Schild
And then my
Punjab.
brain went, oh, maybe this is the right place.
Und dann hat es in meinem Gehirn Klick gemacht, das ist wohl der richtige Ort.
And in that moment, he started walking down towards the gate, and I started walking to the gate. We just met.
Und in dem Moment kam er herunter und ich kam zu ihm und wir haben uns getroffen.
So then you just fall in love.
Und dann fällst du einfach in die Liebe.
And I've said many times that he's probably the human being that I ever felt the most love with.
Und er ist wahrscheinlich der Mensch, für den ich je am meisten Liebe empfunden habe.
But it wasn't I love you, it wasn't I love Punjaji.
Es war nicht, ich liebe Punjaji, ich liebe dich.
It was like, I mean, I'd already spent many years with another master, so I wasn't completely, I mean, I was already very open, I think.
Ich habe davor bereits viele Jahre mit einem anderen Meister verbracht und ich war schon sehr offen.
But it was like an instantaneous, deep connection.
Aber es war eine spontane, tiefe Verbindung.
And he's probably not my type, actually.
Und er ist nicht wirklich mein Typ.
Because he's a big man, you know, with tattoos, shaven head,
Er ist ein großer Mann mit Tattoos und rasiertem Kopf.
you know. And he'd been a wrestler, he'd been in the army, you know,
war in der
definitely not my
Army.
type.
Nicht mein Typ.
But, you know,
Aber-
by that meeting, somehow I was guided, maybe I can use the word, I was guided, you know, very ruthlessly to look inside.
Aber mit diesem Meeting wurde ich auf eine sehr starke Weise nach innen geworfen, nach innen zu schauen.
And it happened after 3 weeks.
Und nach 3 Wochen ist es passiert.
So this was an amazingly strong kind of guidance, you could say.
Also es war eine sehr, sehr unglaublich starke Führung, die ich da erfahren habe.
So maybe you're ready for that. You know?
Vielleicht bist du dafür bereit.
Okay, good.
Thank you, John.
Well, it's almost dangerous to share tonight, yeah? I probably will say a little bit now about Vipassana because maybe it's useful. I mean, you probably all know that Vipassana is maybe the most historical meditation method. You know, it's like the classical way to meditate. Osho invented kind of modern style meditations, but Vipassana is basically just to sit. And of course, if you are young and can do yoga, you can sit with your legs behind your ears, and you can sit with a very straight back, and then the energy can move up through the spine very easily. So this is kind of classical posture. But of course, you can just sit in a chair. It doesn't have to be a yoga posture. And then you simply look. You simply look inside, yeah, like we've just done. And very often, when you haven't really done much meditation and you have a lot of thoughts, then you might be given the advice to focus on your breathing. So you can focus on your breathing by being aware of the movement of your stomach, because as you breathe in, the stomach goes out slightly, and as you breathe out, it goes in again. So you can be aware of the movement of your stomach, or you can be aware of the air passing through your nostrils. So there's two places to focus then for the breathing. And one method is to watch your breath. You watch the breath, and as you watch the breath, the thoughts come, and maybe one of them is very, very interesting. And so you start to follow that thought, and very quickly you have no awareness anymore of the breathing. Yeah? So then maybe there's a sound or something, and you kind of come back and you leave that exciting thoughts, the exciting movie that you were coming into from the thoughts. You just leave it, and you come back to the breathing. So this is one way that you could start tonight if you've got a lot of thoughts. But I would like to suggest another focus, and that's to focus on your true nature. So your true nature is the place where there are no thoughts and no emotions, and it's like a space. It's a kind of space inside which has it's an infinite space. Has an infinite space, and it might be black. It might be very dark, but not dark in, I'm afraid of the dark, not that kind of dark. It's like a kind of shiny darkness. So it's like a darkness with apparently some light, but it's not, it's not exactly like light. It's sort of like a shiny blackness, maybe something like a shiny blackness. It doesn't have to be a shiny blackness. Maybe it will be something else, but it won't be a glass pyramid. That will be your thoughts. Some people see purple somethings in the, and that's also going to be your mind. So if you really come to your essence, it's an emptiness. It's a kind of nothingness. But it's not, when I say nothingness or emptiness, you immediately go, well, that doesn't sound very nice, I'd rather have ice cream or something. But it's not that kind of nothing. It's a very, very nurturing and beautiful nothing. So you when you would come to that, you would feel very, very good. In fact, you'd feel so good that you wouldn't want to, all your desires would leave you. If you have any desires around, they would just disappear because you're so content to be there in this emptiness. It's so touching that you wouldn't want to change anything, and you'd just be quite happy to stay there. And I hope many of you will, over the weekend, you'll come to some moment when that will happen for you. And maybe it won't go on because maybe you've got old thoughts or something that will come back in. But anyway, for some time, I think almost everybody will come to a moment where you experience this emptiness. And this is very profound and beautiful. And I would suggest that's the best place to focus. You can start with your breathing, but as you go more and more, get more and more quiet, I would suggest you come to this place and simply use that as the focus. And when you lose touch to it, you come back to it. Okay, it will depend on your whether you've done enough meditation before, whether this is going to work for you. It's kind of like for the advanced meditators, let's say. And if you're not so advanced, then you can use the breathing. Or you can just sit and watch whatever is happening. You know, you can say to yourself, oh, a lot of thoughts, or I've got a pain in my knee, or I wish that woman lying on the third island, oh, she's really beautiful, I hope to meet her later, or something. You know, all this stuff will come up, you see, all kind of movies. And you just watch, So the trick is not to come into judgments about what you're observing. So it's a very cool kind of watching, yeah. So you don't get yourself into judgments about what thoughts are coming or what feelings are coming. Just completely accept whatever is there. That's very, very important, because if you try to change it, then you get into struggles. You start struggling with yourself, in fact. So you just complete acceptance. And you'll notice that when you completely accept whatever is there, that it changes anyway. So you might have, I don't know, some sad feelings about something, so there's some sadness. You just focus on the sadness, you accept the sadness, and the next thing you notice is that it's changed and some other emotion is there. And the whole movement of sitting is that you come to this essence which is your true nature. So that happens by itself. It just happens by itself. It's like falling deep into the ocean. Fall deep into the ocean. So this Vipassana weekend is very beautiful. We've offered it a few times, and every time it's very, very touching. And I'm sure, we're going to do it in this room. We're going to change the room into the island, and it's very touching because, every human being has this place inside. Every human being has this place inside. Every human being has very closely got the possibility of coming to their essence. So you can look around and think, oh, this person or that person better than me, I don't have any chance. It's not true. It's absolutely possible for everybody. In fact, it's basically what we're offered by nature. When we arrive on this planet, what we're offered, is that's one of the things we're offered. That's our nature. Nothing special, really. So you don't have to sit there thinking, oh, well, I'm not good enough, or I don't deserve this, or something like this. It's completely not true. It's completely not true. Even Shakti gets this, so it must be okay for everybody. You remember Shakti in the film? Can't remember which film now. We made so many, but in one film, she's sitting in a cave. We have a kind of Vipassana cave in the back of the community, off the courtyard. You go down some steps into a kind of cave. It's a cellar, actually. And we dug it out a bit deeper, and we put a bed and a sitting block there. And so we offer, I don't know what we call it anymore. What do we call it? Anyway, it's a kind of Vipassana. Retreat cellar. Okay, so you go in there and we lock you in, And then we've made an opening in the door, and we pass food through the opening. You also have a little toilet in there. And then you get taken out once a day to have a shower. But basically you sit down there. There's a curtain on the window, so you can choose to be in the darkness or with some bit of natural light. And I mean, this is also a kind of Vipassana situation. So if anybody has a good weekend and wants to do it for a week, we've got the perfect place here. So I mean, these kind of things, like our cave or like this weekend, I mean, it's all about silence. Actually, it's all about silence, coming to a deep silence, and of course, that's not so much common in our lives. Most human beings, we've got so amazingly programmed to talk. Yeah. In fact, we feel maybe even a bit uneasy if we're not talking. It's a sort of way to connect. But if you really look what happens when you talk, you're not really, most of the time anyway, you're not really connecting. You're actually keeping a separation. But silence has a different quality. When you come down into silence, you can make eye contact with somebody else in silence, then you feel a very, very deep meeting with that person, and also at the same time with yourself. I remember a funny moment while I was in Papaji's Satsangs. There was a German guy from Munich, and he'd been about 3 months, and he was going to leave in a few days. And he came and sat in front of Papaji, and he said, you know, when I go back to Munich, my friends are going to ask me, what is your teaching? So he'd been 3 months, and he didn't know yet what the teaching was. So Papaji said, my teaching is, be quiet. If your friends don't know how to be quiet, tell them to come here. I'll teach them. Be quiet. You see. So this is really shocking in a way, because our minds would really like there to be something very complicated. And Papaji's answer was, be quiet, you see. And as soon as you come into this quiet, then everything is revealed, you see. Everything is just revealed. Your essence reveals itself. And when we're always blah, blah, blah to people, we're so busy on the outside that we never have time to connect to our essence inside. And this is probably what will happen for most of you this weekend, by being quiet, because we're not going to talk at all, of course, it's going to be silent. But by falling into that silence really deeply, you can't help but to come to your essence. So this is a very, very beautiful meditation, and this is also very powerful. For example, Vimal was saying that this is his 3rd weekend. And if you look on my new website, you'll find that under our essence, we have under Satsang, we have Satsang as the main title, and under our essence, we have 4 films there of 4 people who came to their essence. And there's one of Vimal actually, because recently in our Spanish retreat, he found his essence very strongly, and there's a little movie of what happened, you see. But he's not now thinking he's so great that he doesn't need to come to a meditation weekend. He's actually coming to another weekend because he wants to go. He knows that you can a bit lose touch with that, you see. You can lose touch with your essence. Even when you found it, you can somehow not really lose touch with it actually, but you can, I don't know the right word actually, strengthen it or fall deeper in it. I don't know, something like that. Anything I would say is somehow wrong actually, but anyway, you get the idea of that. So it's very lovely. He's going to be there at the weekend. Okay, so, the other funny thing, well, no, this isn't important actually, it doesn't matter. Okay, there's just something funny happened tonight. I get a lot of funny things happening in my life, and so after dinner I put Vipassana into Google, and I thought I'd see what happens, you know. And there's a famous teacher called Goenka. I know you may have heard of Goenka. He was a bit of a Buddhist, but anyway, he was a famous Vipassana teacher. And when I was with my first teacher in Pune, he was about 2 hours maybe by train on the way to Bombay. He had his meditation retreats. And I often had the idea I would like to go to one, but I never went, in fact. And I've always thought about this Goenka, this man Goenka, who spent his whole life developing Vipassana, or offering Vipassana, didn't really develop it, but offered it. And but I never knew what kind of man he was. And tonight, when I put Vipassana in, I got a little video of him talking about it. And I immediately felt, wow, what a beautiful man. You know, he really looks like a nice man. So it was very touching to find him so lovely. Okay, so maybe if somebody else likes to come, maybe you can just come. You don't have to have any reason now. Come without a reason. Okay. Tell me your name again.
Roger.
Jose.
No special reason.
You come without a special reason.
Yeah, somehow, yeah.
Good. Was it you that lives in Leverkusen?
Yes, actually, yes.
So what do you think has happened in your life? Because we've been here 15 years and you've been down the road and you didn't find us for a long time.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I don't know. Somehow I think I'm on a very special journey.
Yeah.
Somehow journey to find myself, to connect to my, I don't know, inner being again.
Right.
To reconnect.
Right.
Yeah.
And how long have you been on this journey?
Well, I think I've been ignoring myself until maybe 30, and now that was 10 years from now, and since then I started to realize, okay, that there's more, and that I kind of have this inner peace somehow, and I've had moments where it just popped up, where
the inner peace just popped up.
Yeah, where somehow was aware. So I started to practice yoga at a certain point, and then, this was a very special experience for me because I really felt that there is, like I calibrated myself completely in a differently. Yeah.
Through the yoga, and that included some meditation, maybe.
Well, it calmed me down somehow.
Right.
Because when we were sitting here and calming down, then I realized that I had a really stressful day today, and that all I'm really looking for is really peace and calmness and quietness.
Right. But you've met that also when you've been doing yoga.
Yes.
Right.
Totally. Sorry, that was the initial. That gave me the idea of how this might feel, because before I didn't know actually.
Right.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah. So you've had what I would call glimpses, you know.
Yeah.
It's like the clouds in the sky part, and you glimpse the blue sky.
Exactly.
And then being in Germany, the clouds come back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was by chance, and today after I walked a bit on this journey, I can sometimes I can really create this kind of feeling by myself. I mean, before it was just by chance. Sometimes it happened, sometimes it didn't.
And how do you create it?
Meditating.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you don't really do anything, you're just sitting quietly. And
exactly.
It appears again.
Yeah.
Right.
And sometimes it works, and the sun falls through the window and shines on me, and I just feel it.
Right.
Sometimes it doesn't. After 10 minutes, I'm like, okay, doesn't work today.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I think this depends on how thick the clouds are, whether it works or not. So, I mean, probably this weekend you're going to have enough time that the clouds are going to thin out and that blue sky will appear, I think.
That's exactly what I'm looking for.
Yeah. And I mean, it's possible, I think, when we know this place very clearly, when we've had some strong glimpses, like in this on this website page where there are 4 films of people who know this place, all of them have had not just one kind of opening. They've had several openings, and so I think once you've had a glimpse, which is probably spontaneous, just happens suddenly, and then you kind of look at that and start to understand it and so on. Once you know that place and know how beautiful it is, then actually you know something that you never knew before,
Totally, yeah.
I say it's like the taste of chocolate,
Yeah.
So if you never had a piece of chocolate, however much somebody might try to explain the taste to you, you could say, yeah, I understand brown stuff and, sweet and, but it's only when you put it in your mouth, you know the real taste of chocolate. And once you know it, then you don't forget it, it's like...
exactly, and
yeah.
it's the
So
same
it's
to me.
It's the same as a glimpse,
Yeah.
So I think a glimpse is like that. Once you've had a glimpse, which can be quite spontaneous or could come out of doing yoga or something like this, but then suddenly you know it. And then when it turns up again, it's like, oh yes, and you can say, yes, I welcome that.
Yeah, and to me it's like I can never go back somehow. So
Right.
this is something that I have to do now, and I have to push somehow in a certain direction. It's like
I'm not sure if you have to push. I think
no, but I have
what's
to
needed
follow.
is more like a priority.
Yeah.
It's more like, you can choose many things in your life, and you need to there's a sort of priority for what you're talking about, and it's easy to choose so many other things that you never have time for that priority. So I think that the key is to make a clear priority, and that's much easier when you've had a glimpse, because the glimpse is very beautiful. So in a way, it naturally becomes a priority, and as you say, you can't ever really go back now.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Good. That's great. Yeah.
Yeah. I think so.
Yeah. And the nice thing is existence takes care of it then, you see, because when you're clear what your priority is, you discover that we are here only just down the road from where you live.
Right.
Come on your bike,
Yeah. Maybe. Yeah.
Well, whatever, but, so this is also interesting. So somehow existence is always looking to support us in our main priority.
Yeah.
Okay, good. All right. So maybe one more person who'd like to come. I think Saraswati wants to come actually. Saraswati, come here. Hello.
Hello.
So we haven't really met for quite a long time, yeah? How are you doing?
I feel very good.
Is that surprising?
No, not. My parents were here.
Yeah.
Ah, yes. They were on this weekend here when you came back on Saturday.
Ah, but they were here then when I came back?
I mean, they left before, but on the same day.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. So, and then...
And what did they reckon? They want to rescue you, or they're happy to leave you here a bit longer?
Yes. I mean, yeah, they were not scared or worrying at all. I mean, they saw I'm in a very good space, in a very good place, and they really liked it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
My mother was participating at the lunch meditation,
Yeah.
for example. Yeah. And she saw the movie The Great Misunderstanding. And yeah, I mean, in her life, she came also to this point that these topics were touching her. Or, for example, she also did one this Kundalini meditation from Osho years ago, and so it's not new. It's something they know somehow.
Right. Well, I mean, it's interesting that you would have grown up with this kind of mother, yeah? So even if you don't remember particularly,
Yeah.
you obviously got a great benefit when you were small.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
She's a kind of funny lady because she showed up in January. Well, actually, she showed up at the end of December, I think. Last year at the end of December.
No, January in India.
Yeah, I know you came in. She came to our Indian retreat in January.
Yeah.
But I remember just before that,
Okay.
there was some kind of email where you said, you know, I'm interested. But then it was all very iffy and mysterious if you were really going to make it. And we had the impression that you probably wouldn't make it. But then suddenly you turned up in India.
Yeah, my visa just arrived one day before my flight was going. So I just did it in the last second and I could go to India. It was really...
But she arrived in the retreat without really knowing what it was all about, I think. And then we discovered she's rather a good singer, and she jumped into the band for a while, yeah? I remember you had a poem, you made a poem, came out during the retreat.
Yes.
Yeah.
At the first day, actually.
Yeah.
Yes. During the mantra band was training for the first concert.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then she came back to Berlin and she nearly disappeared. She kind of went into a deep slumber. And we kept poking her a bit, and you came then for a month here, yeah? When was it you came here?
I mean, this was before. I mean, this difficult situation in Berlin was when I decided to move in.
Yeah.
Then I was for a couple of months not able to move in.
You weren't able to move, I don't think, right? But anyway, whatever. Yeah. You went into a deep hibernation for 2 months. Yeah. The shock of deciding to move in was so much that she couldn't function for 2 months. Yeah. Yeah. But now you've been here for what? How long have you been here?
Yeah, for 4 months.
4 months now. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I feel more settled. I feel actually really good here.
Okay.
I'm glad that I did it. Yes.
Oh.
Mm.
Okay. So we'll see what happens this weekend. Yeah?
Yeah, I'm kind of excited about it. It's my first Vipassana experience.
Right. Yeah. I mean, one thing I didn't say just now, but I think I said it maybe after dinner. Probably everybody will come to a kind of difficult moment, you know, and it's very easy to give up, but don't give up. So that difficult moment is the moment where there's a sort of challenge, you can say, and then you just stay with that challenge, and then you'll find that something will change, and then later on you'll be very happy you didn't leave. And the other important thing to remember is that when you're looking and things come up, be very kind to yourself, you know? Don't make horrible judgments against yourself. Oh, I'm not good enough. Look, I'm not good enough. I have so many thoughts, I'm not good enough. So just be gently and care that, you know, just you're watching and everything is all right. Everything is all right. Whatever is there, it's all right. Okay. Good.
Okay.
Okay, so thank you very much. Thank you.